Welcome to another episode of Brothers Arguing Sports. I'm Zav. TD is coming home from his overnight shifts, and I'm here this morning to just recap perfection, Domingo German. And my initial reaction is actually annoyance. I'm annoyed because I went to bed listening to the game on the radio. It was, I want to say 7-0. And I fell asleep and I woke up. I taped the game to watch it on recording on TV, and I opened up my phone and I saw it was a perfect game. So my initial reaction was actually annoyance that I missed history, that I missed it. But I turned on the TV, I watched the end of the game, I fast forward when the Yankees were up to watch German make history. So, but my initial reaction is I was annoyed that I missed it live because it's such a great experience watching a no-hitter or even a perfect game batter by batter. My second reaction, though, is I'm happy for baseball because, as baseball has fallen behind football and basketball in terms of popularity, last night's a reminder of what makes baseball so special. That's a game where you're on the West Coast, so it's a late start at 9:45, so it went into the early morning hours. And the main announcer, right, Michael Kay, wasn't there. All right, good for Ryan Ruocco getting the call because Kay didn't, he's not going to go out West Coast to see the worst team in baseball, the Oakland A's. Even the radio, John Sterling wasn't there. Good for Justin Shackle. Even the Yankees studio, the Yes Network. All right, Bob Lorenz wasn't there. Chris Sheeran. So all the main media members for the Yankees who cover the game, call the game, they weren't there. And it makes sense, right? It's all the way on the West Coast, the worst team in baseball. And for the fans, it's these late night starts. So how many people are actually watching or listening? And in this scenario, even those like me who were listening or watching, we went to bed when, it was a blowout. So it's so unpredictable, this sport. And to see history out of a night like last night is just incredible. And who could have saw that coming? Who could have seen that? It's just that last night was the game you didn't want to miss. Even halfway through the game, who would have thought this is a game I don't want to miss? It came out of nowhere. It was magic. Last night was magic. For those fans, right, who stayed through till the end and watched it, they saw magic, and good for them, because that's what baseball can give you out of nothing on a 162 game schedule. There was only 12,000 people in the stands last night in Oakland, right? And look, out of that scenario, 12,000 fans, worst team in baseball, West Coast game, early morning hours on the East Coast. And that was the game that is historic out of the baseball season so far. And good for Domingo German. It's, I remember watching David Cohn's perfect game. And now German is now the fourth Yankee in history to throw a perfect game. Think about all those Yankee pitchers, only four. Don Larson, David Wells, David Cohn, and now Domingo German. Only 24 people in the history of baseball have thrown a perfect game. This game's been around forever. All the different players. And German, it was his curveball. I remember, like I mentioned, 99, I remember Cohn, it was a slider. That slider was just on TV. You could watch it and you saw the movement. And the Expos were a free swinging team, and they were just swinging at it. And the movement was amazing. And that was the key to Cohn getting his perfect game back in 99. And German was the curveball. He was throwing it for strikes, and you could see the A's hitters, they couldn't square up on it. And he went to, there's 1 3-ball count. It was 3-1 in the 8th inning. And 3-1 count, you're it makes sense to go for a fastball. You want to get it over. You got to get the pitch over, because if you're going to lose a perfect game, at least make the hitter beat you. But German had such confidence in that curveball. He threw a 3-1 curveball in there for a strike, another curveball that was fouled off, and then another curveball that was grounded out to Donaldson at third. Think about that. You have 3 balls against a hitter. You have to throw a strike, and he threw 3 curveballs in a row. That just shows you what confidence he has. So good for German. Good for Kyle Higashioka. All right, Higgy, to be a catcher, to call a perfect game. And it was great. His interview after the game, he said he's happy for German. German was booed his last game. He gave up 10 runs. Early in the year, he was suspended for too much rosin on his hand. So it just makes it even more, just more of this storybook story. So I'm happy for Higgy. Obviously, amazing for German. He goes down in baseball and Yankee history. But most of all, I mean, obviously it's German who's going to be the hit. It's his night. But I have so much love for those Yankee fans who stayed up and watched it, because that's real dedication of a fan, right? It's just natural. Once it gets to 7-0, they ended up winning 11-0. They scored 3 runs, when I was watching the tape, I want to say in the top of the 9th. I mean, at that point, you're just, come on, let's get German out there. But those fans, they had a moment that they're going to remember the rest of their lives, because they're sitting at home late night, obviously hardcore, diehard Yankee fans, and they were watching every pitch, every batter, just hoping to see history, and they got to witness that. Just them and their TV, early summer night. Good for those fans. So, hey, listen, this is why we love baseball. So have a great day, everyone. I'll talk to you soon.